Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Hello, happy days all round. It's December. Advent calendars are being opened, Christmas trees are up, and we are into the festive month. In other news as well, I can tell you that this is episode 200 of the podcast. We have made 200 episodes of this amazing stuff. Wow, there we are. On the way in episode 200, the costs of falling in love, together with the relevant scientific findings, bad parties you found, and one that I debated even taking on the show, but I did anyway, an undeserved MBE in my humble opinion. We talked custom advent calendars, and also some liars got outed. All that on the way.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Home of the anthems all day long. This is Atom Radio Morning, and welcome to Monday. It is Mark Denholm at breakfast. Still in November, so the Christmas tree should not be up yet. You can do that on Thursday. Set an alarm extra early on Thursday, and then you can get up and put up your Christmas tree before you go to work or school or that, if you are still worrying. An Oxford University study has found that for every person you fall in love with and accommodate into your life, you will lose 2 close friends. Now what if you fall in love with a close friend? Surely they can't be one of the close friends that you lose. And I never knew that, if I'm honest. I mean, I can see it, but I didn't. Yeah, now that I sit and think about it, I've got it.
This is Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Across the weekend, I went bowling yesterday with my son, 10-pin bowling, and I used to be quite good at this, right? But obviously, I had the stroke in the summer, and it's now not really something that I am that good at anymore, to the point that I decided to palm the ball. This is where you put 2 fingers loosely in the ball, and you don't put your thumb in at all, and then you kind of flip your wrist over and you spin it, and you can get a bit of banana action down the lane on the ball if you do it right. And I used to be very good at this. And I thought yesterday I'll give it a try. And I did. And it wasn't too bad, right? It wasn't too bad. But I ended up with the 6-pin left on the lane. And being left-handed, that's on the left-hand side of the lane. And if you curve it the way you can, then it will curve across the lane and you'll end up on the right side. So I thought, well, in that case, I'm going to flip it the other way, which I used to be able to do. And I couldn't. And not only that, I think I've broken my finger as well. I've got a purple middle finger on my left hand here from attempting this yesterday. And I have to say, while I was there yesterday, I met an amazing, lovely lady called Sarah. She's a very, very lovely lady. She was, and it was nice to meet her yesterday. And that was good. My son had a good time, and that was good. And I think I've got a broken finger, and that's not so good. So I want to know this Monday morning, what is something that you used to be good at that apparently you are not good at anymore?
Mark Denholm at breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
Mel says, when my kids ask me the name of songs that they hear, I don't know anymore what the modern songs are called or who's singing them. Well, Mel, let me put it to you this way. Why are you even listening? I mean, we are the home of the anthems here, and every single one you'll hear on here will be one that you will know as well. So, I mean, there's no need to apologise for this, Mel. It's just that your kids don't really have very good taste in radio. There we are. We've solved that. Thank you for your email. Have a lush day.
This is Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Male puppies let female puppies win during playtime. Dogs, therefore, are probably cleverer than humans, and there are stars in the known universe that are cold enough to be touched by the human hand, although there are no arms long enough to enable the human hand to actually go and touch them.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Cast your mind back many years ago to 1962. Britain and France announced a joint agreement to design and build Concorde, the world's first supersonic airliner. They say progress takes things forward. Now you can't travel at supersonic speed unless you are a military pilot. I don't see that as moving forward, if I'm honest. Bring back Concorde.
This is Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
Atom Radio.
A lady has gone viral with a wedding invite that she received and shared on the social network TikTok. The invite says that guests were obliged to pay for their own meal, and also the couple would prefer cash over presents. Users of TikTok who've seen the lady called Kelly, who is not the bride, she's the person who received the invite. Users who've seen her video have branded it as tacky and also said that a wedding is not a fundraiser. It's on a plush, double-sided invitation. All gifts appreciated, monetary gifts preferred. It says, urging viewers to share their opinion on the couple's approach. Kelly wrote, "Tell us how you really feel." And it's been widely criticised. It's been viewed by 825,000 people so far, and they're all criticising it. So today I want to know, what has been the worst party that you have ever been to? On air at atomradio.co.uk. And I don't really think that this is that funny, to be honest, but I'm going to go with it anyway. Morning, Harry. Harry says that he and his partner managed to attend the wrong funeral. They arrived a little late, so they thought, cutting it a bit fine. But in fact, they weren't late. They were an hour early. So they arrived a little late as the last of the mourners were filing in, and they just joined in and sat at the back. And it was only when they got in and they sat down and they shut the doors that they then looked up and saw the picture of the person. They didn't know them. They looked around the room and they didn't know anyone because they were at totally and utterly the wrong funeral. And they couldn't leave because by then the doors had been shut and everything, so it would have been quite rude to get up and leave. So they had to sit through this funeral before then realising that they were an hour early, and the funeral they were supposed to be attending was not the one after the one they were at, but the one after that. So they had to sit through this funeral for a stranger, and then they had to fight out and, shake hands with the other mourners and everything. So sorry for your loss, before then going back and doing it all again at the right time and attending the right funeral. Now, I know that we shouldn't really joke about funerals because it's not a joking matter, but there is a real irony to that, though, isn't there? Attending a funeral of someone you don't know. Thank you for your email, Harry.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast. Podcast.
If your day involves the flipping of a coin today, the odds are not 50-50. They are 51-49. Statistically, it will more than likely land facing the same direction as it started. So watch the coin before you call. And remember that 51-49 in the favour of it landing the same way as it starts. I never knew that. I always thought it was 50-50, but now I know.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast. Podcast.
And amongst all the excitement of the football and England winning on Tuesday night and qualifying top of the group, they play Senegal at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. In amongst all that, I did forget to mention that Emma Raducanu has been given, is it an MBE or an OBE? I don't know which one it is, but she's been given one of them for services to tennis. She's won one tournament. She's sulked and sacked off many coaches. She hasn't really done anything in any other tennis tournament. And all right, maybe she got an MBE or OBE or whatever it is for something or other, but for services to tennis, she's not really won anything or done anything.
Mark Denham at breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
Morning. 22 minutes to 8 o'clock. Welcome to Thursday, and it's Mark Denham at breakfast, banging out the anthems, and they continue with Mid-Jaw and If I Was, up and good to go next. First, though, today is December the 1st, pinch it a punch because it's before midday, but also creak open the door on the advent calendar and gobble up the chocolate. That's what's in most advent calendars, isn't it? Like, all sorts of different ones with all sorts of different chocolates. And I want to know today, though, if you could make an advent calendar for yourself and put something behind each door, all 24 of them, what would it be? On air at atomradio.co.uk. Keep it reasonable, though. You can't have a different car behind an advent calendar door, because that really wouldn't fit an advent calendar, would it? To fit 24 cars. No, keep it reasonable. On air at atomradio.co.uk. And morning, Paul. Paul says, I see a problem with this, but I'd quite happily wake up and open the door of an advent calendar that had coffee shots behind it every day, given that you open them in the morning, and usually the first thing I go for in the morning is a coffee. But the problem with it is, obviously, it needs to be a plug-in advent calendar that knew to heat the coffee shop for the day in question in advance, so that when you woke up, your little coffee shop was actually warm rather than totally freezing. And yes, it'd be like having a teas made, wouldn't it? Rather than an advent calendar, you'd have to connect your advent calendar up to one of those old-fashioned teas made in some house. It's a good idea, Paul, but as you say, logistically, there may be a small problem with your idea.
This is Mark Denham.
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Stacey's, though, I get what you're saying. Morning to you, Stacey. Happy December to you. Stacey says, what about like an experience voucher advent calendar where you have maybe perhaps say Starbucks or, you know, perhaps something from Greg's and then maybe a haircut or something? What am I going to do, Stacey? I've got no hair. I don't really drink coffee, but I'll have a tea. And then Greg's binned off the ice bun for some unknown reason, and I don't know why. Very frustrating that. They said it was gone for Christmas a couple of years ago, and it's never, well, in fact, it was 3 years ago now, and it's never come back. And, you know, I'm still bitter about it, but don't worry. And then the haircut, I don't know. But, yeah. The thing is, though, Stacey, in Slough, you'd be hard-pressed, in all honesty, and no disrespect to those in the town centre, you'd be hard-pressed to find 24 things that would be of value enough to put into an advent calendar in terms of an experienced advent calendar. And it would be, I'd imagine, also quite expensive if you're going to cover the cost of a Starbucks and a Greg's and a haircut just on the first day. I mean, you know, first 3 days, that's going to be quite expensive, isn't it, as well? You know, especially a lady's haircut. They cost an absolute fortune, Stacey, but thank you for your idea, though. It is a good idea. Have a good day.
This is Mark Denholm
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Bonjour. Why am I speaking in French? Because the French baguette has secured a spot on the UN Cultural Heritage List. We got bacon butty on there. I mean, surely that's just as cultural. I would imagine so. Bacon butty. Chip butty could be on there as well, or maybe just Le Franche Baguette.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Morning. Mark Denholm at breakfast. Banging out the anthems on Atom Radio. We're into December now, so I will give you a helpful tip, by the way. If you're looking for children's things this Christmas, you can head to a well-known discount retailer which has Humpty Dumpty toys, and they come with Aldi King's horses and Aldi King's men. You know, just saying. Thank you, Steve Lee, for that, by the way.
This is Mark Denholm.
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
People have been called out as liars online, like a Redditor who posted, "I was assaulted on my college campus while walking home. I fought back and the guy fled," posting a picture only to then be outed later as an Amazon stock image. A man claimed that he had his teeth whitened and somebody's commented beneath it, "Wow, that's really good. It's even managed to brighten his skin as well." A picture claiming to be in Germany and a protest. In Germany, the government has increased fuel prices, and in just 1 hour of time, people abandoned their cars on streets and avenues and walked home. However, somebody's then put, yeah, that never happened. That's a traffic jam in China. And somebody else, very embarrassing this, posted online, "My parents didn't buy my car. I bet you can't steal this status." All good until his own mum called him out in the comments.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Imagine that last one, though? Posting that and then being outed in the comments by his own mum. Ha ha. You got to see the funny side to that, though, haven't you? I'm still sat here thinking, one, about Teasmades from Thursday. And yeah, I would quite like a Teasmade, if I'm honest. I wouldn't mind being greeted in the morning by a cup of tea. All you got to do then is remove the bag. I'd be quite happy with that, you know, like the alarm goes off and there's a cup of tea sat there. All you got to do is stir it and remove the bag. Although I remember a few weeks ago finding a thing about making the ideal cup of tea, and it says that the milk should never be in the cup at the same time as the bag. So then that would clash, wouldn't it? I guess what you could do, if you were really clever, an technical genius, is get a machine that puts the hot water in and then knows to wait and puts the milk in just as you're about to wake up and take the bag off. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Maybe it's not. But anyway, that is episode 200 of the podcast. As always, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget you can subscribe in your favourite podcast app. You can also subscribe as well if you are listening/watching this on YouTube as well. And we go into week 2 of December on Monday at 6 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6 until 10 on atomradio.co.uk and on your favourite listening app as well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.